Welcome everyone. Welcome to Hawaii ACAC's virtual college fair program. We have a great list of colleges for you to explore tonight, and we're so thankful that you're joining us. Before we get started, I just have a few housekeeping items. So first, you can use the Q&A button on the bottom of your screen to type questions to our presenters at any time. I would encourage you to use the college's name if you have a specific question for that college, so they know that it's you, that it's them that you would like the question answered from. This is a webinar, so your microphone and your camera are turned off so our presenters cannot see or hear you. This is just one of the many sessions happening, so I hope that you're able to sign up for additional sessions this afternoon. This presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at that same website where you registered. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to our presenters. You are first going to hear from Sarah Lawrence College.
Hi, everyone. I'm Elizabeth Benedict. So excited to talk with you for the next 5 or so minutes. I promise I'll keep it on time. Just here kind of to tell you a little bit about Sarah Lawrence College. So we're a liberal arts and sciences college founded in 1926. As far as our location, we're right outside of New York City, as the Google Maps screenshot shows. So we are a residential campus, but with close access to a major city like Manhattan, but we also have access to Bronxville and Yonkers. Yonkers being the 4th largest city in New York and Bronxville being a small college town. So we kind of call it the best of both worlds as far as having a residential campus, but access to major urban city, one of the greatest cities in the world, in my opinion. As far as kind of our student body, we have a smaller student body on campus of about 1,400 undergraduates and about 300 graduate students. So definitely really small class sizes on campus. Our students truly do come from kind of all over the US and the world. We have students from almost every state. I will say the states sending the most students are California and New York. About 14% of our students are international, and about a quarter of our students identify as a student of color. So a lot of different voices and backgrounds represented in our student body, which is really important to us. Like a lot of liberal arts colleges, we have a ton of different clubs and organizations that you can be a part of, whether it's affinity groups, student identity groups, internship opportunities, Division III athletic teams, study abroad are all great opportunities that you can take part in at Sarah Lawrence. As far as our campus, about 85% of students do live on campus for all 4 years, and housing is guaranteed. As far as academics, students do get to create their own program of study. So that is probably one of the most distinctive facets of our educational model, is that Sarah Lawrence was founded on a progressive education model where we want students to be in their driver's seat of their own education. So students work with an academic advisor to create their own program of study. So students at Sarah Lawrence actually have what are called concentrations instead of majors. So it's a self-designed major that you have the help of an advisor. So most students have 1 or 2 concentrations similar to having a major, a minor, a double major. It just grows with you and it's flexible. So as your interests may change, your concentration can also change with you. We like to say it's a choose your own adventure type of place. But we also have all of the pre-professional advising that you might want, or that things like your parents reference, like graduate school, all of those good things, because about 70% of our students will go on to some type of graduate school. A little bit about our application process and financial aid. We have 4 rounds. We have early action, early decision 1, early decision 2, and regular decision. There's no application fee to apply, so nothing, it doesn't cost you anything literally. We are test optional, so about 40% of our current freshman class submitted their scores when they applied. Of course, we have averages of accepted scores, which I put in here just for you because students typically ask about that, but that is an average of about 60% of applicants. So always good to kind of look at where the data is coming from. As far as kind of academics, our average accepted GPA is a 3.7. And if you are taking an IB curriculum, we award a year of credit for the diploma. We have tons of supplemental options for our application process. We really trust students to represent themselves however they want throughout the application process. So you can do an interview. We have writing options. We've got a creative and performing arts portfolio that you could submit. And our average financial aid amount awarded is $38,000. So our financial aid comprises of need and merit-based aid for students. There's no merit-based aid application. So when you apply to the college, you're considered for merit-based aid. So that is kind of all I have for you as far as everything at Sarah Lawrence. Hopefully I've kept to the time I have, but that's just a little bit about Sarah Lawrence. Hopefully you can learn more. You can go to our website for so many more resources.
Thanks so much,
My
Elizabeth.
share.
Next up, you are going to get to hear from Elon University.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on a weekend and logging in via Zoom. We certainly appreciate it. We wish we could be with you in person. My name is Brittany Slaughter. I'm the Director of Regional Admissions at Elon University, which is a liberal arts university located in Central North Carolina. I am West Coast based. Before we get started, I think helpful to obviously just get a better sense for where Elon is located. We are in the heart of North Carolina, so you'll take about an 8-hour flight to get to our campus. We are about 45 minutes west of the Raleigh-Durham Airport, so fairly easy to get to our campus. The town of Elon itself, where we are located, has this great small town college feel. We have a couple shops and restaurants in our downtown area, and thankfully about 5 minutes away from campus is the city of Greensboro with about 60,000 residents. So lots for you to do in the general area. I would never describe Elon as being a rural community, but much more suburban. You're certainly not in the middle of nowhere, but you get the best of that kind of just that small college town feel. We will get all 4 seasons in North Carolina as well, where we are located. So you will need a warm coat and probably a pair of boots to get you through the rainy season, but nothing too extreme, which is quite nice. Now you see a list of majors and all of our 4 schools on the left. Know that Elon is a liberal arts university. So regardless of what you study, the liberal arts will make up your core curriculum. And we have over 60 different majors. This is just a snapshot of some of the programs that we are most well known for. We offer a new School of Engineering within our College of Arts and Sciences. Our Love School of Business is a top 50 ranked business program. We have an extensive School of Communications that provides a lot of hands-on opportunities for students wanting to move into that field, as well as a School of Education. Just a quick shot of the numbers. We have about 6,200 undergraduate students on our campus, of which 80% are from out of state or overseas. So you will meet students from all over Elon's campus, from all over the world on Elon's campus. Elon is an ideal fit for the student who's maybe looking to be part of that more hands-on approach to your learning. Discussion-based classes are things that excite you. We don't have any teaching assistants at Elon. You're always going to be in the classroom space with that faculty member. So the opportunity to build that kind of mentor-mentee relationship is really important for us at Elon, and certainly is something that will help you to feel immediately connected to our community versus another person kind of going through the college process. At Elon, most of our students are doing about 2 to 3 activities outside of just going to class. So you certainly won't be bored. And we also benefit from having Division I athletics on our campus. I will say that being an athletics program like we have, it does not define our campus community, but is certainly just another thing that our students are involved in. They're heading to the games to support the Phoenix, but also just to support their fellow students. So there really is this great sense of community on campus. Elon is very committed to making sure that you're taking what you're learning in the classroom and applying it to the greater world. So things like studying abroad, undergraduate research, service learning, some type of internship or professional development, as well as leadership is going to be really part of your curriculum. You're actually required to do 2 of those 5 activities that I just listed. While Elon does not meet full need when it comes to tuition and total cost of attendance, we do meet full need when it comes to having that study abroad experience. So if that is something that is on your radar, something you'd like to do in college, know that Elon's actually had the #1 study abroad program for the last 6 years. So certainly a good opportunity for us. Just some quick new admissions notes. We are test optional this year, and we will be test blind when it comes to awarding any of our scholarships. You're automatically considered for merit-based scholarships when you do apply to Elon. We also have some accelerated business programs that are new this year. If you are interested, drop a note in the chat and I will follow up with you directly as well. And I mentioned earlier our new four-year School of Engineering, as well as a new direct entry nursing program this year. We'll have room for about 56 students. If you are interested in applying to Elon, we are on the common application. We have two deadlines coming up, November 1st and January 10th. Early action and regular decision. You are considered for, as I mentioned, merit-based scholarships when you apply. So thanks again for logging on today. If you have specific questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat and I will drop my information for you as well. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much, Brittany. And as she mentioned, don't hesitate to put those questions in the chat. Our panelists are there to answer anything that you might have this evening. Next up, you're going to hear from Pacific Lutheran University.
Hi, everyone. This is Brandon from PLU. I'm really excited to meet with you all today. I serve all students from Hawaii, so this is my contact information. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to connect with you. Just a little bit about PLU. We are located in Washington State. We are in the city of Tacoma. We are actually about only half an hour away from downtown Seattle. We're only about 50 minutes away from SeaTac Airport, which is where everyone flies in. We are along the I-5 corridor in Western Washington, which is really accessible to a lot of different internship opportunities, as well as great opportunities to explore the great Pacific Northwest. The picture on the right is actually the picture of downtown Tacoma, which is only about 10 minutes away from our campus, which is really great. So I like to describe ourselves as being a very suburban, urban campus as well. Okay. We have about 3,100 students on our campus. Out of that 3,100 students, only about 2,800 are actually undergraduate students. All our classes are 100% taught by the faculty members, including the labs. So our students get great one-on-one attention from all our students at PLU. We have a great student of color race population has been increasing over the past 5 years. 38% of our students identify as students of color and 33% identify as first-generation students. So we bring in a great diverse student population. Hawaii accounts for more than 5% of our student population at PLU. We have many students enrolling from the island of Oahu and the neighbor islands as well too. Our average incoming GPA is a 3.7, but that's weighted. Unweighted GPA is around a 3.5, and we weight any honors, AP, and advanced placement classes. I do want to touch upon the application real quick. We are a Common App school and it is free to apply, so no need to worry about an application fee. We are also test optional, so we do not require any SAT or ACT or any other testing to be considered for admission to the university. These are the requirements you can see on the side. You can also go to plu.edu/admission to see the full application checklist for more information. We are not an early action or early decision school. We just have 4 normal decision dates. If a student can submit their application to us by one of these dates, we can guarantee a 4-week response time. So for example, if you submit an application to us by November 15th, by December 15th, you'll get your full admission decision, as well as any notification of any merit scholarships you've been awarded. Students can still apply after January 15th. It'll just be on a rolling basis, and we can't necessarily guarantee that timely 4-week turnaround, but we can get it to you within a month and a half. 97% of our students are in financial aid. If any of you haven't done so yet, I encourage you to submit the FAFSA. It's the best way to see what kind of need-based and other scholarship opportunities you may qualify for at PLU. At PLU, we award academic merit scholarships based on your application. No need to send a separate application based on your academics. So again, this doesn't require a separate application. However, these two, the Presidential Scholarship and the Fine Arts Scholarships, do have their own separate requirements and their own application dates, and that again can be found on the PLU admission website. I do want to highlight this, especially for all our residents from Hawaii. Many of our students are actually coming to PLU using the Hawaii Community Foundation as a great resource for scholarships. So I highly encourage all of our students from Hawaii to check it out. Go to hawaiicommunityfoundation.org to look and check out the different scholarships you may apply for that could help fund your college education. It's a great resource, and like I said, many of our students use the Hawaii Community Foundation to help with their cost of education. At PLU, we offer more than 50 degrees, 50 type of academic programs. Nursing, education, business, kinesiology, computer science, criminal justice are some of our popular programs. As I mentioned before, we offer smaller class sizes and great one-on-one interaction with our faculty members. We also conduct many undergraduate research opportunities for all of our students. For more information about the academic programs, go to plu.edu/majors to see the full listing of our academic programs and some of the great outcomes that our students have found after graduating from PLU. We are an NCAA Division III university. We offer 19 varsity sports. I just want to do a quick side note. I have students from Hawaii on all teams except basketball and baseball. So hopefully you can help us round that out and get us a full sweep of Hawaii representation in athletic sports. Some of our popular sports are going to be football, volleyball, soccer, both men's and women's, softball are all very popular sports from Hawaii. If you have any questions about playing Division III athletics, I highly encourage you to go to golutes.com to get in contact with their coaches. They're actively recruiting, and it's important that you get in touch with them as soon as possible. We at PLU, we offer more than 70 clubs and organizations at our university. This is from our luau. This is from the 2019 luau. In 2019, our luau won that year's social program of the year, and this is all student run by our students. The Hawaii Club is the largest ethnic student association on our campus, which is pretty awesome. And not low-key, and here's a quick spoiler alert, I am also the staff advisor for the Hawaii Club as well too. So I get to work with our students not only through the admission process, but also with them as they're part of the club. So as you can see, we offer a wide variety of different opportunities for students to be involved in on our campus. Studying away is a huge opportunity for our university. We are the first American university in 2006 to have study away in all 7 continents simultaneously. So you can see down here Antarctica. We also have great study away opportunities in Hawaii as well too. If you're going on PLU sponsored study away programs, most if not all of your financial will help to cover for the program fees. It's great to connect with you all again. So this is my contact information. I look forward to working with you. And if you have any questions, feel free to send a question to the chat box. Thank you.
Thanks, Brandon. Wow, I'm learning so many great things about these incredible institutions, and we still have many more. Next up, you're going to hear from Loyola University, New Orleans.
Aloha, y'all. It was a pleasure to say that. My name's Doug Umberger. I'm representing Loyola University, New Orleans in New Orleans, Louisiana. I am Associate Director of Admissions, regionally based in Washington, D.C. I work with students throughout the Northeast, in addition to Alaska, Hawaii, and all international students as well. We're going to dive right in. Sorry about that. So a quick little overview of Loyola New Orleans. We have an average class of 21, which means we have a 12-to-1 student to faculty ratio. We have a hair over 3,000 undergraduate students, so certainly a smaller to more medium-sized institution, well over 100 different academic majors and 130 different student organizations for you to choose from. On that bottom right nav, you see number 15 in diversity and inclusion from the Princeton Review. We are quite proud to say that that was actually bumped up to number 7 in this past year. And sort of one of the points as I speak with students from around the world, when it comes to diversity and inclusion, it's a big point of pride for Loyola New Orleans. We have about 55% students of color, representing about 44 different US states, 32 different countries around the world, and that was from last year's first year class of about 790 students. So again, a small but mighty little gumbo pot right in the heart of New Orleans. We are in the Uptown District neighborhood directly across the street from Tulane University, if anybody is familiar, literally directly across the street from Tulane University. It's quintessentially Southern. It's a really cool feel. You have that classic streetcar, that trolley system. We are directly across the street, just the same from Audubon Park. So a lot of cool opportunities in the scope of marine biology, sustainability, ecology, biophysics, and the like on that front. We are not in the throes of the concrete jungle when you think of New Orleans. Generally, you think about Mardi Gras or the French Quarter. We're about 20 minutes removed from that. So we're on the opposite hug of the Mississippi River. So again, a comfortable distance away. You got the lush forest. You got the Gothic architecture. Again, you're in a nice little collegey little bubble of town. And again, about 20 minutes from MSY, which is our airport. Loyola University in New Orleans is a Jesuit institution. For those of you unfamiliar with the Jesuit schools, there are 27 in the United States. The Jesuits are the world travelers, I like to say, of the Catholic Church. They're often the researchers, they're the philosophers, they're the ones in class that are going to be badgering you with the question, why, why, always digging it just a little bit deeper. But sort of the pillars of the Jesuit education oftentimes is studying abroad, social justice, community service, often D1 athletics, us as well. So you start to see sort of those similarities across the board with the Jesuit institutions. We get it all the time, so it's worth indicating as well. There are 4 different Loyola universities, all of which are completely autonomous, separate institutions, different majors, minors, programs, same name, different schools. We have 3 different colleges for you to choose from. The first of which is our College of Arts and Sciences. You kind of see a cool little laundry list of facilities. In addition to our awesome greenhouse, we have a rat lab, we have a brain slicer, we have an EEG machine. There's a reason as I'm going into that direction, psychology and neuroscience is our largest major. From there, you see some of our larger programs listed there as well. Nevertheless, I would say probably anchored and rooted within the humanities, the natural and applied sciences, in addition to the social sciences there as well. You'll see psychology and sociology and criminology and justice is a big one for us in Louisiana. Like many other liberal arts institutions, we do have a College of Business. I always like to tell our students that ours definitely errs more on the side of New Orleans, which is kind of a conversation in and of itself. Love to shoot the breeze with you one day. But sort of the key takeaways when it comes to the College of Business, there is a required internship regardless of your major within the College of Business. You do have a 4-year business portfolio. There is that stock trading room. And then in addition to that, you do get a couple of alumni mentors specific within the New Orleans, the greater New Orleans community. So just additional networking opportunities, international business being by and large the most popular for our College of Business. Last but certainly not least, when it comes to New Orleans, you got to think jazz, obviously the birthplace of jazz and opera. The College of Music and Media is our bread and butter flagship program in many ways. I make many trips out to Hawaii specifically to speak with students that are professional ukulele players and the like. This is kind of a conversation in and of itself. There's about 25 different majors that encompasses our College of Music and Media, but you see the 3 different schools here: music and theater arts, communication and design. We have number 9 in the nation right now for our campus newspaper, but the School of Music Industry is our largest between music industry, popular and commercial music, in addition to urban and electronic music as well. We are the first school in the nation for an urban and electronic music production major. Applying today, although we do have very specific deadlines and lines in the sand, we do kind of function on a rolling admissions process, so feel free to apply. It is a free application to apply via the Common App or an internal application right online. In addition, it's just 3 points. We have a letter of recommendation, a resume, and we are a test-blind institution as well. So no need to send in SATs or ACTs. Even if you do, they will be redacted. Scholarships ranging up to about $23,000 a year, renewable for 4 years' time. Other internal scholarships listed right on our website, and my information as well. Feel free to drop a line. Pleasure working with you all today. Take good care. Thanks again.
Thanks, Doug. Next up, we're going to make our way east to American University.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Andrea Felder. I'm the Assistant Vice Provost for Undergraduate Admissions at American University. And just take you to the East Coast, as Courtney shared with you all. American University is a student-centered research university in our nation's capital of Washington, D.C. As you can see from this map, we're about 4 miles from the White House. So many of our students do come to the D.C. area to be involved and social justice, activism, politics, but there's plenty to American University, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. We have about 8,500 undergraduates at American University, so we are considered a mid-sized university. We do have a campus right in the heart of the city. Our students come from all over the US and around the world. And as you can see, our average class size is about 23 students. So you will be taught by world-class faculty members who are leaders in their field. Many of your professors are actively engaged and working in various industries within the Washington, D.C. area, so that you will leave the university well-versed for whatever it is that you do post-graduation. At an AU, you can choose from over 70 majors in our 6 schools. Our most popular majors at AU include our School of International Service, so International Studies, as well as our Political Science and the School of Public Affairs. But there is certainly strength in our School of Communications, our Kogod School of Business, our School of Education, which especially focuses on urban education, as well as the College of Arts and Sciences, which houses most of our majors at the university. When you come to AU, you will list what you're interested in, but it's not until the second semester of your sophomore year that you will actually have to declare your major to the university. So you have time to make up your mind. We do like to call our students active learners. And so during your time at AU, we encourage you to participate in at least one internship. About 91% of our students will participate in at least one internship before they graduate. Many students will participate in 2 or 3. We also encourage you to study abroad. There are 150 study abroad programs that you may choose from all around the world. You don't have to be fluent in a particular language in order to study abroad in some location. We also want you to be active on campus. So we are a Division I institution with 15 teams. We are part of the Patriot League, which includes several other colleges here in the Mid-Atlantic of the US. There are over 150 clubs and organizations that you can choose. While there is a sorority and fraternity presence on campus, it is not the only thing that one has to be involved in order to feel active and engaged. And then, of course, if you're not a Division I player, you can always choose one of our club or intramural sports. There is housing available for students on campus. Many of our first and second year students do live on AU's campus and then move off and as they get into their upper class years. Several options for dining. As well, there are several options for living and learning communities during your first year so that you have that sense of community, sense of belonging in your first year on the campus community. If you have questions about any of our living learning communities, feel free to pop them into the chat. Just very quickly about our admissions process. AU does employ a holistic review process, so you can see what it is that we require on the right hand of the screen. We do have 2 early decision deadlines. One is quickly coming up. If you accept if you're admitted to American University during an early decision deadline, you are making a commitment to enroll. And then there's always the regular decision deadline of January 15th. This is our average information, our middle 50% information from last year. American University is a test optional. We have been test optional for the last 10 years. So we do encourage you to not submit a test if you have had difficulty, as we know that many students have had trouble submitting SAT or ACT or taking an SAT or ACT this year. So if that is you, feel free to not be pressured to take an exam. But if you have a score, if you wish for us to see it, you're welcome to submit that as well. AU is committed to making the university affordable. We will meet 100% of demonstrated need, and we do require both the free application for federal student aid and the CSS profile in order to be considered for need-based aid. For merit-based aid, just by applying to American University, you're automatically considered for our merit-based scholarships. If any of your family are in the military, we do accept Yellow Ribbon program opportunities as well. And so that could be a good way to fund your education at AU. We do encourage you to visit us. If you ever get a chance to fly out to the East Coast, I know that it's challenging during our COVID times. But even if you're not able to do so, we encourage you to learn more about us online. I especially encourage you to visit our YouTube page where we have several videos where you can learn about the campus community, hear from our current students about their experiences. You can also follow our AU ambassadors through their Instagram page. So if you look for AU ambassadors, you can find information about their student experiences. And then lastly, if you have questions or concerns after this evening, you're welcome to email me or to give me a call. I look forward to meeting many of you in the coming days. Thank you.
Thanks, Andrea. Next up, our final presenter tonight is Drexel University.
Right. Thank you, Courtney, and hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I see that you're very quiet. I've been looking at the chat to see if we can get some questions answered, but you've been quiet. So I hope our presentations are just answering all your questions, or you've already done all the research that you need. My name is Evelyn Thimba, and I serve as the Senior Vice President for Enrollment Management at Drexel University. Drexel is located in University City in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We are the furthest out east and north in this group. I think Courtney and the team did that on purpose, but I'm really excited to be here. We are also, I think in this group, the largest private research university represented. We have over 15,000 undergraduate students at Drexel. We also have an additional 9,000 graduate students. And so total, we have just under 24,000 students on our campus in West Philadelphia. And our students are coming from all around the country and all around the world. We certainly have students from Hawaii every year matriculate at Drexel, but we also have students from 126 other countries. We were founded in 1891 by by A.J. Drexel, who really was looking to put together an institution that was open to people from different backgrounds, geographically, religiously, by gender and race and ethnicity. And we continue to really live by those tenets of our foundation. And so diversity on our campus and diversity and inclusion is something that we value greatly. We offer 80 different majors, and I'll talk a little bit about the schools that we have at Drexel, but we also have over 100 different minors that students can participate in. For a large university, your experience will be really small and individualized. Student to faculty ratio is 11:1, and average class size is just under 20 students. So as you're applying to Drexel, you would be applying directly to one of 12 undergraduate schools and colleges at Drexel. And this will be your first academic community. It will be your first community at Drexel. I like to say students at Drexel belong to many micro communities that end up being their full tribe. So our schools range from really small. Our School of Public Health brings in about 15 students every year. And then to really large, our College of Engineering is the largest college at Drexel, bringing in around 600 students every year. So even when you're looking at 15,000 students, we are shrinking it down to these small, manageable communities. Students can also apply to join our honors college. Our Pennoni Honors College really allows students to have a well-rounded undergraduate experience, really augmenting a foundation in your primary program of study with intellectual exploration with leaders in their fields from across the different disciplines that we have to offer. And of course, students, as I mentioned before, can choose to minor while they are at Drexel. I think the core, though, of our academic experience is experiential learning. We were founded to be an institution that not only offered an academic experience that was good, but an education that was good for something. And so our students are really going to be learning in the classroom and picking up that theoretical foundation and applying it directly into the field through our cooperative education program, Co-op. And what Co-op does, it gives students the opportunity to punctuate periods of full-time classroom experience with periods of full-time professional experiences. And this, what you see here is examples of our 4-year curriculum or 5-year curriculum. Students who are in our 4-year curriculum will spend 6 months of their time in the field, working full time, really picking up professional experiences, networking, and building a very unique resume by the time they graduate. If you're in our 5-year program, you'll have a year and a half of full-time full-time professional experience under your belt. Our students come out with a really thorough both theoretical and practical experience, being making them really successful post-graduation. But there is also a lot of life at Drexel. You'll enjoy your academic experience and your personal experience. We like to call ourselves an urban campus, but with a truly traditional college experience. We have over 400 clubs on campus. We are Division I athletics. And so students who are interested in either being athletes or supporting our athletic teams can do that. But we have a really thriving food truck culture on our campus. And so students really have the best of both worlds. You have a thriving college experience, but then you have Philadelphia, which is at your fingertips. Philadelphia becomes an extension of your classroom, an extension of your campus. And Philly is the fifth largest city in the US. And so, but it's a manageable city. It's not really big and overwhelming. You can really have fun and enjoy your academic experience as well. Lastly, I just want to cover very briefly our application process. We are a Common App and Coalition school, so you can use either one of those applications to apply to Drexel University. This year, we are test optional, like everyone else on this at this fair today. So you can submit test scores as part of your application process, but you can choose not to do that. We're really going to be looking both at your academic and non-academic factors. We review all of our applications holistically before we make that final decision. We'll also be looking to provide merit and need-based scholarships to you. Average scholarships from Drexel is about $30,000. And for our merit-based scholarships, we don't require any application. You just submit that your application automatically considers you, allows us to consider you for merit-based scholarships. So I just want to leave you with my email address. Again, my name is Evelyn Thimba. You can email me directly, and you can use the enroll@drexel.edu email. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you really have a great Saturday afternoon. Thanks.
Thank you, Evelyn. I'd now like to invite all of our panelists to turn back on their cameras, and in the order that they presented, to share a piece of either advice with seniors and families. Maybe it's a fun fact about your institution that you haven't shared yet, maybe a campus tradition, something unique or a distinction, or maybe a place on campus or within your campus community that you'd just really like to highlight. So let's start with Elizabeth.
I'll share a piece of advice. My piece of advice for everyone, whether you're a student or a family member, parent, guardian, is to reach out to us. Hopefully you've seen throughout these presentations that we're all friendly people. We really are here to help you throughout the admission process. So, at all of our colleges, universities here, and many others, we have dedicated representatives to your areas. We know your schools, and we're here to help you. So don't hesitate to reach out throughout the process.
Elizabeth, that's so important. I'm sure students and families realize that they had one another for support. They maybe realized that they had their school counselors, maybe older siblings or friends, but they probably didn't realize that they had all of you specifically there to help them through the process. Let's move to Brittany next.
I actually attended Elon, and I'm going to share one of Elon's campus traditions. I did grow up in California on the West Coast, and I had never been to North Carolina until I enrolled at Elon. One of the things that drew me to the campus and made me feel so welcome was the fact that every Tuesday, Elon hosts something called College Coffee. And there's no class scheduled from 9:30 to 10:30, because that's when College Coffee happens. But our entire campus, from students, faculty, staff, every single person who works at Elon, comes to the heart of one of our academic quads. And it's a great time just to celebrate in that community. There is free coffee and drinks, maybe a banana, or grab a bagel on the way to your next class or activity, which is certainly nice. But it's just a nice reminder that while you're here at Elon to improve upon yourself, how are you connecting with the community around you, and vice versa? How is that community able to support you? So that certainly made me feel welcome when I was 3,000 miles away from home. So one of my favorite traditions.
I love that, Brittany. Brandon?
Hi, yeah. So we have a growing population of students from Hawaii that so much has influenced our food services on campus. We actually have a poke bowl bar on our campus. We also offer spam musubi. We have our own internal food services, so we don't work with companies like Sodexo or Bonap. In fact, a lot of our local chefs have actually gone to Hawaii to bring back local dishes back to campus. So it's pretty typical to see like almost like a zip pack type of meal available on our campus. So you're gonna have your rice, your spam, loco moco and things like that, and Kalbi beef bowl. So just want to let you know that all our Hawaii students will have a touch of home in our dining services as well.
And food is so important, right? Doug?
I'm actually wearing pineapples on my shirt. I don't know if you caught it, but shameless plug to the outfit. My biggest takeaway for Loyola New Orleans in particular, and this is my fourth school that I worked for in higher education. I did not attend as an undergraduate, but the biggest thing by and large that I appreciate is just their sense of creativity. I always tell my students that it doesn't matter whether you're a computer science student, whether you're marine biology, criminology and justice, or anything in between. Every single one of our students, they all dovetail on that very creative outlook, the very musical presence. It's very artsy fartsy. And it's palpable. You feel that energy as soon as you step foot into New Orleans, but onto our campus just the same. And I always like to sort of dovetail that philosophy to students as you go through the application process. You don't necessarily need to pigeonhole a passion into a minor or into just a recreational hobby. You can pursue a double major, you can make it your life. So just be you, be true. Thank you.
Thanks, Doug. Andrea?
Sure, I'll touch a little bit more about Washington, D.C. There's a saying that we like to say, there's D.C. and then there's Washington. So Washington is Capitol Hill, all of the political federal things, and then there's D.C. So I encourage you, if you do choose American or come to American University, to explore the various neighborhoods in the city. Each neighborhood has a different vibe, feel, flavor of food. You can also get out of the city a little bit. I was telling the panelists earlier today that it's beautiful here in DC, and so I went out to Great Falls and saw, yes, we have waterfalls here in DC as well, so they're not just in Hawaii. So I would encourage you, wherever it is that you end up going, explore the community that you live in as an undergraduate. So whether it's large, small, city, suburb, just to explore that community.
Excellent advice. Evelyn?
Thank you, Courtney. I'll follow up on Andrea's lead and talk a little bit about Philadelphia. I guess a fun fact, or just a fact, there are direct flights from Philadelphia to Honolulu. It's an 11-hour flight, so quite a trek, but it is direct. And just thinking about access from Philadelphia to the world, New York City is about an hour and a half by train. DC is about 2 hours by train, but from Philadelphia International Airport, you can pretty much travel to anywhere around the world. And for students who are interested in study abroad, we have over 200 different programs that students can take advantage of. And, you know, whatever financial aid you're offered on our campus really transfers with you when you go to one of these study abroad sites. So accessibility to Philadelphia is certainly something we love to share with students, because we know that our students are going to be traveling the world, and if you're coming from Hawaii, it's quite a hike already. So, but thank you, Courtney, so much for hosting us today.
Thanks to all the panelists tonight, and I would like to give one piece of advice to our families and students. Enjoy this senior year. It's been a crazy year, we know that, but there's also so much to celebrate and be excited about, whether that's submitting your first application, getting your first acceptances. All of these milestones are still really important and deserve a celebration. So with that, have a great night, everyone. We've loved having you on this evening. And when you close out this window, you'll have an opportunity to fill out a very quick 4-question survey. So we hope that you'll provide us some feedback. This was just one of the many sessions being offered, so we hope that you sign up for additional sessions. And again, as a reminder, this was recorded, and you will be able to find this recording as well as other recordings in about a week on that same website that you registered. Have a great night, everyone.